Welcome to Sky Broking Commodity Weekly Market Commentary. Disclaimer: this weekly market commentary is for information purpose only. Before taking any decision, consult a financial advisor. Major data of this week has economic and inflation related data, and the crude oil inventory is postponed to Thursday 9:30 p.m. Now let's see the precious metals outlook. Gold and silver has news like Ukraine tensions remain the primary driver behind gold's earlier rally above the $1,900 level. Expectations are growing for some type of ground conflict after the separatist leader Pushilin announced an evacuation of eastern Ukraine residents to Russia and following reports of an explosion in separatist-held city of Donetsk. Wall Street has gone from expecting robust economic growth around 4% this year and a return to normal next year to fears that aggressive Fed tightening could invert the curve next year and send this economy into a recession early in 2024. Fundamentally, this is a positive news for precious metals. And technically speaking, gold may expect a mixed trade in between 48,724 to 50,905 levels. Silver may expect a range-bound trade in between 61,727 to 65,842 levels. So these are this week's precious metals outlook. Now let's look into the energy outlook. First is crude oil. It has a news like the Ukraine situation has totally stolen all the attention away from how tight the oil market remains. As global COVID cases continue to decline, crude demand should improve, which means added pressure for the supply side. US oil production is struggling to increase with OPEC Plus likely to struggle hitting their quotas, which means whatever dip in crude prices we see will be temporary. Fundamentally, this is a positive news for crude oil, and technically speaking, crude oil may expect a mixed trade in between 6,459 to 6,854 levels. Next is natural gas. It has news like German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has told CNBC that the West has to work very hard to find alternative sources of energy beyond Russia as talks of potential sanctions intensify. Fundamentally, this is a negative news for natural gas, and technically speaking, natural gas may expect a profit booking up to 305 until break above 355 ranges. So these are this week's energy outlook. Now let's check out the base metals outlook. First is copper. It has a news like deliverable stocks of most base metals in Shanghai Futures Exchange registered warehouses continue to grow and copper up by 27.9%. This is fundamentally a negative news for copper, and technically speaking, copper remains in profit booking rally with support of 740 ranges. Next is aluminum. It has a news like on the supply side, the operating aluminum capacity is likely to shrink amid extending impacts of the heating season in North China. While on the demand side, the power rationing has constrained the downstream demand as a whole. This is fundamentally a neutral news for aluminum, and technically speaking, aluminum may expect a consolidation trade and break either side. Next is lead. It has a news like lead show the biggest price increases on the London Metal Exchange in the week to Friday and supported in part by a continued dwindling of LME. This is fundamentally a slight positive news for lead, and technically speaking, lead may expect a profit booking rally up to 180.3 levels. Next is zinc. It has a news like the downstream has refrained from purchasing amid such a high price and the transactions were slack. This is fundamentally a negative news for zinc, and technically speaking, zinc may expect a profit booking rally and it is possible to test 291.5 levels. And finally, it's nickel. It has a news like China's nickel pig iron NPI price has maintained an upward trend by supply tightness and robust demand from stainless steel mills. Fundamentally, this is a positive news for nickel, and technically speaking, nickel may expect a high volatility trade. So these are this week's Commodity Weekly Market Commentary. For more market updates, join our Telegram channel and the YouTube channel. Thank you by Sky Broking.